Hello, my friends. I am back. This is the first video that I am filming since I have returned from my vacation. So I'm just warning you, I might be a little bit rusty, but in today's video, we are going to be talking about all of the candles that I burned up in the month of April. Now, surprisingly, despite being gone for 8 days this month, I was able to finish up a decent chunk of candles out of my collection. A lot of those I did finish burning prior to leaving for my vacation, but I've been home for a week now, so I was also able to get a couple more finished up during that timeline. So I'm pretty impressed with myself, I have to say. If you're coming across my channel for the first time, hi, I'm Katie. I love to talk all things candles here on my channel. I do a monthly empties video like this. I have a candle collection video series that I do every month where we take stock of what's currently in my collection, and I encourage you to do that as well and really prioritize enjoying what you have. I also do dedicated candle reviews, hauls, and everything in between. So if you find yourself wanting to stick around at any point during this video, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. How I do this video is I do this introduction here in front of the camera, but then I'm going to turn the camera around and show you all of my empty candles up close and personal, so that way you can get a good look at the vessel, you can see the wicks, you can see what the wax residue looks like. And personally, I think that empties videos are the best reviews that you can come across here on YouTube, because a person really knows how a candle performed by the time it is finished up. And if you're like me, I tend to notice that performance can fluctuate from beginning to end, even from midway to end. So that's why I like doing this series here. Please make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you like empties videos. It does let me know that you guys like this type of content. Like I said, I might be a little bit rusty going through this one because this is my first video back. We did have a wonderful time on our vacation. It was a wonderful time of rest, renewal, exploration, relaxation, all of those things. But I've been pretty busy this week catching up on all of the things around the house, because you know how it is when you've been gone, but part of your family is still living in the house. You don't realize how much you really do. You don't realize, how much gets behind. So I've been pretty busy this week. But yeah, enough about that. Let's go ahead and talk about all of the candles that I burned up this month. As always, I will have all of the candles that I talk about listed and linked in the description box down below, as well as with timestamps, and any affiliate discount codes that I have will also be listed down there for you. All right, no more wasting time. Long enough intro. Let's get into the empties. All right, here is my little bin of empties for the month of April. Again, I didn't get as many done as I typically like to in a month, but I give myself a little bit of grace because there was an entire week of the month that I was not home to burn candles. So we're going to go ahead and start out with this one that's sticking right out from here. This is Country Candles Carrot Cake. This was a limited edition Easter collection candle. Now you can see it got a bit sooty there. The reason it got pretty sooty was because I was burning this in a hurricane, and I did notice that especially towards the end of the burn, it really started to soot when I had it in a hurricane. So I decided to take it out of the hurricane, and then the sooting issue quickly resolved. Now this candle, honestly, you guys, I did a comparison video between this one and the Bath and Body Works Sweet Carrot Cake. It feels like that video was an eternity ago. Gosh, it just goes to show you how quickly things seem to move in the home fragrance world. But this candle, to me, I love it. I actually think that if you are somebody who loves just like a good spice cake type of fragrance, this is a beautiful year-round fragrance. I'm kind of kicking myself for not getting another one when it briefly came back into stock. Did it come back into stock? I don't know. Maybe it never did. This is one, though, that if Country Kringle Candle came back with it next year, I would definitely purchase it again. Really nice spice cake accord. It's not as frosting heavy. There is a sweetness of frosting in it, but it's really, really nice. Now, the issue that I did run into it, which a lot of people are saying that they were having with these newer country candles, was that about like the halfway mark, I did have to pour out a tiny bit of wax because I was starting to get puny wicks. So I did pour out about 1/2 inch of wax. and then I relit it, and then that seemed to fix the issue. So I don't know what they were running into with the wicks on that. Now the wicks otherwise didn't develop big, huge carbon balls, but like I said, we got some sootiness there towards the end because I did have it in a hurricane. So that's one of the lessons that I'm learning, especially with these the vessels for these large country jars, is to start taking them out of a hurricane once I get to like maybe like a third of the wax left, just to avoid that sooting issue. So otherwise, this candle was a pretty strong performer. I would say that the strength and throw on this, it started out really strong. I would give it like an 8 to almost a 9 at first, but then in the middle of it, because I started getting those puny wicks, it kind of tapered off to like maybe like a 6.5, but then again picked up strength by the end. So great fragrance, but I still think that Kringle Candle is needing to improve their country candle lineup. All right, Sweet Orange and Agave. I did do a dedicated review on this one as well. This is from Bath & Body Works. We have fragrance notes here of effervescent citrus. What does that say? Golden agave and jasmine musk. Now, I don't get any kind of floral musk fragrance in here. Honestly, you guys, this to me smells very much like Sunwashed Citrus. If you're familiar with Capri Blue Volcano, it's in that same fragrance family. Yankees Iced Berry Lemonade. It's that kind of grapefruit forward type of fragrance, but you've got some orange. It's a lovely, lovely citrus scent. I'm not mad at it because I actually love this citrus scent every year, usually in the springtime. This is usually a fragrance that I really like to burn like late February, early March, like when I'm ready for spring fragrances. I like that it's very citrusy. Now this one did actually burn pretty well for me. You can see the vessel got slightly sooty and the wax is looking a little dirty there towards the end of the burn. But otherwise, you guys, I didn't deal with any puny wick issues on this one. The flames were pretty consistent all the way down. So I really like this fragrance. I'll be curious to see if they actually keep this in the lineup or bring it back next spring, or if they will repackage it as a different name. But it was a nice fragrance. I did enjoy it. All right, we have a Kringle Reserve line candle that, I finally finished burning. And I felt free to burn it because it did make a return earlier in April. This is Kringle Candles Jelly Donut. So spoiler alert, I will be filming, well, it should be upcoming, I would say Monday or Tuesday of this week. I will have my candle collection series video that I do every month. And if you're new to my channel, that's a series that I do where I talk about candles that I've decluttered, candles that I talk about the number of candles that I've emptied, and then I share with you guys the amount of candles that I brought into my collection. And because my filming schedule was a little bit wonky this month with me going on vacation, I actually have some candles that have come to me recently. One package was the Kringle Candle Restock or the Reserve. So I'll be sharing with you what I purchased from the Reserve Restock, as well as a couple of candles that I've received in PR from HOMEWORX. So stay tuned. Monday or Tuesday, I'll be sharing with you the full haul of those candles. But spoiler alert, I did purchase 2 more of Jelly Donut when it came back into stock because I love this fragrance so much. So burned all the way down there. I mean, oh my goodness, this is such a good fragrance. I'm wondering, like, are the wicks not going anymore on that? Why is this in here? Those wicks look like they still should have some in there. I'm going to see if this one's going to burn anymore for me because it might. It might. That's a good one. All right. This fragrance to me, I know a lot of people talk about this. For me personally, I would put this in like probably the top, I would say probably top 5 Kringle fragrances of all time for me. And this has like that raspberry filling, but you get that powdered sugar. You get the dough note in here. It is probably one of their best, or like, yeah, I would say their most well done candles. So glad now that I have 2 more in my collection. So I felt free to go ahead and use that up. And then here we have a 3-wick of Kringle Candles Fresh Lilac. So the fragrance notes, okay, look at that, you guys. What did I do there? Okay, it looks like it says lilac, floral musk, freesia, okay, magnolia, sweet pea. I don't know what else is written on here, you guys, but this candle, I've said it numerous times. This is a fragrance that is just authentic, gorgeous lilac fragrance. Now, you're going to see that wick right there, and this is some of the feedback that I have for Kringle. Let me know, you guys, if you guys are experiencing this as well. I love Kringle's Clean Burning Soy Wax. They're probably like my favorite candle brand. However, where they need to improve, their wicks detach very easily. I notice, especially if you burn your candles in a hurricane or towards the end of a burn, if you are somebody who uses a wick dipper. I feel like they need to make an improvement on the glue that they are using to attach their wicks, because I am finding in quite a few of my Kringle candles, especially because I like to burn them in hurricanes, that their wicks are detaching and moving on me. So I really, really have to keep an eye on them. It's not really like affecting the performance of the candle per se. And like I said, part of that might be my own user error because of how I like to extinguish my wicks is by using a candle dipper. However, I don't have that issue with HOMEWORX. HOMEWORX or Bath and Body Works. I feel like their candles, the wicks usually stay attached. So if anybody from Kringle is watching this video, you need to make improvements on those wick clips, because yeah, it shouldn't be doing that. You know, that's something that it could be a fire hazard danger. But regardless, you guys, this is my favorite lilac fragrance. This is one that I would repurchase over and over again. Strength and throw on this was a good solid 9. I would say this was a house filler. I love this fragrance. Other candles, that Jelly Donut, by the way, too, is also a really, really strong performer. I would give that one a solid 9 as well. It is just like fill the room, powerhouse, almost fill the house type of fragrance. All right, Sweet Carrot Cake, another fragrance that I finished up from Bath and Body Works. So this was the 2024 Easter release. I did have 2 of these in my collection this year, so this is the second one that I finished up. Obviously, I liked burning this alongside the carrot cake from Country Candle. The 2 of them, you guys, really complemented each other really nicely, because this fragrance is a lot more cream cheese frosting forward with the spice cake in the background, whereas the carrot cake is kind of reverse. Mine burned really cleanly for me. I had good performance. Even the wax, you guys, still looks pretty nice. So not really seeing any sooting around the edges there. So this one performed really well for me. This is a fragrance that I definitely purchased year in and year out because I really enjoy it. All right, here's a Country Candle. Now, this one was sent to me in PR when they released the spring and summer lineup. And this is Lemon Tea and Roses. Now, I really love this fragrance for the springtime. Very fresh. You get that like kind of like a soft tea, not a tea fragrance like a chai tea or a black tea. This is more of like an herbal type of tea, maybe almost like a jasmine tea type of fragrance. But you do get a little bit of that rose note in the background when this is burning, and that wax color I loved a lot. Now, this candle, like a couple of my fellow reviewers said, they started to develop those puny wicks midpoint through. Also experienced that a little bit with the Country Candle, or not the Country, this is Country Candle, the carrot cake. I will say that it did start to do that on me, this one too, around the halfway point. I did dump a little bit of wax out, and then it did self-correct after that. But you can see that this one didn't get as sooty as the carrot cake, and again, that's because I learned my lesson and I pulled it out of a hurricane. So I would say when you get to about this level of wax left in the vessel, take it, if you've been burning the candle up to that point in a hurricane, take it out and then allow it to burn outside of a hurricane, and then maybe you'll avoid that soot issue. But the wax still looks pretty clean. I didn't really deal with a lot of discoloration with the wax. This fragrance to me, I would say, was around like a 7. It was definitely noticeable, but definitely one that if they improve that wick issue that they've had going on there, that is a fragrance that I really, really enjoy. And you know, always say I could see myself repurchasing again. I think the way I'm going to look at it is if I didn't have a YouTube channel where I was constantly in, you know, having to review new fragrances, I definitely would repurchase that candle again. All right, Happy Easter Daffodil Daydreams. This is from Bath and Body Works. Fragrance notes here of whipped marshmallow, pastel clouds, sweet daffodil. I really enjoyed this fragrance. I did go through 2 of them. The packaging I really thought was adorable, especially with this like mint colored lid. This was definitely a sweet marshmallow forward fragrance, but I wouldn't necessarily put this as like a classic gourmand from Bath and Body Works. This was more, I liked burning this like with the lemon tea and roses. There was also a HOMEWORX candle, the white tea leaf candle. I really liked burning this with. It's a gourmand, but there's kind of like a soft, perfumey, sweetness to this candle that I really, really like. It just screams springtime to me. It's one that, you know, because I'm a seasonal burner and I'm starting to crave more fruity, summery type of fragrances, I wouldn't burn it right now for me, but I did enjoy it. And again, this one actually burned pretty well for me. I will say the only thing that was disappointing about this was that this was maybe like a 4 to 5 in terms of strength and throw. It was not a very strong performer for me in terms of the projection of the scent, but it did burn pretty cleanly for me. So I don't have any more of these in my collection. Would I repurchase it? Probably. I mean, I did purchase it twice this year, but again, my mindset is always having to review the new things. All right, here is a candle that I do repurchase year in and year out. This is Kringle Candles Rosemary Lemon. This is one of the candles that when I first started ordering from Kringle, this is one of the ones that captured my heart. This fragrance, I don't have all of the fragrance notes here, but this is definitely like your very sharp astringent lemon with some rosemary in it. I always say that this, if you are doing some spring cleaning around your home or you want people to walk into your home and think that like it is immaculate, even if it's not, this is the fragrance to burn. The lemon is not like your gourmand lemon. It is probably the lemon type of fragrance that you would find. I cautiously say this. It's a very clean, fresh lemon. This candle does not remind me of cleaning products, but it does tell me that the home is clean. But I love the twist of having rosemary in there. It's herbaceous. It's beautiful. I really, really love that fragrance. It's I still have another jar of this. It's burned about halfway through. I went ahead and put it back into my closet because again, this is a fragrance that I really associate with the springtime, and I'm craving more summer stuff. You guys will see that next week when I do my early May candle chat. All right, raspberry coconut cake. This fragrance was sent to me from HOMEWORX in PR. Fragrance notes here are coconut cake, fresh raspberry jam, raspberry sugar, and vanilla cream. I did do a dedicated review on this one. You can see, you guys, it burned cleanly all the way down. I didn't have any wick issues with this one, although I will say that a lot of these newer HOMEWORX wicks are the wicks are a little bit thinner, and I've said this repeatedly when I do the dedicated reviews. With these HOMEWORX candles, I generally will allocate on the first burn at least 4.5 to 5 hours to just make sure that I get a full wax pool. I also prefer to burn them in a hurricane to just make sure that that wax pool is complete. The other thing that I am really noticing with this, with HOMEWORX in particular, but I'm also noticing it a little bit with Kringle, and I'm starting to think that outside of Bath and Body Works, I think with those other two brands, it's kind of going to be the standard, is that I find that the fragrances really don't come to life, and I really can't gauge how strong they are until I am about 3 burns in. I find that the first 2 burns, everything is still trying to come together. And I do find that a lot of these HOMEWORX candles, the strength and throw increases once I hit the halfway point, which was the case with this one. When I initially lit this candle up, I could not smell it. I was like, oh boy, this is going to be a dud. And then I can't remember the strength and throw that I put it at when I did the dedicated review, but I do remember that once I hit the halfway point, I was really surprised by how much I could smell it. Like by the time this one started emptying out, if I was burning it in the hurricane, I would say it was a good solid 7.5, almost 8 in a hurricane. Again, once I hit that halfway point on this candle, I really enjoyed pairing this one with the Jelly Donut from Kringle. It was a really nice morning fragrance. But again, if any of these that I've said I have dedicated reviews on, I will make sure that those reviews are linked in the description box down below for you. Don't mind me just hitting my camera there. I'll make sure that I have those linked down below for you so that way you guys can get my full thoughts on the fragrances. All right, you guys, if you happen to have caught my what was it? The top 10 fragrances of 2024 so far from last weekend. You know where this one fell. And I've already burned through one of them. I finished it up actually just last night. This is my beloved Lemon Sugar Marshmallow from Kringle Candle. This was part of their Easter collection. I have another full-size jar like this, and then I also went ahead and purchased two of, I think they called it Easter Chicks. It was in a smaller vessel, like the painted vessel with a 2-wick. I also have two of those in backup. Yeah, I love this fragrance. So the only knock I'm going to give it on this vessel is you can see that that wax is not as clean as my Kringle candles normally are, the soy wax, and you can see the vessel is pretty sooty here. So I know that a lot of people kind of had that experience. I think it has something to do with these jars, with kind of this like mercury jar, although I didn't really experience that with the mercury jars at Christmas time. So I don't know if it's maybe the paint or the colors that they're having to use. I have no idea. There's so much more that goes into candle manufacturing than I am probably aware of. However, let me see, do they have the fragrance notes on the bottom here? No, they don't. This to me is if you happen to have liked the lemon note in the 2023 Cosmic Cupcakes, that's what's in here. However, there's no weird chocolate note or anything like that. This is just a beautiful lemon gourmand fragrance, quickly elevated into my favorite ones. This was a really strong candle for me too. I would give this one a good solid 9 when I was burning it in a hurricane. And it's so versatile. That's the other thing, is like, I love this fragrance because I can burn it with other citrus fragrances. I can burn it with blueberry or strawberry, or, oh, it was just so, so good. So that one was amazing. Other than the burn quality on that one, that was the only thing that kind of caught me off guard. But yes, I did repurchase it, and I would repurchase it if they brought it back in the permanent lineup. All right, Kitchen Herbs from, who is this? HOMEWORX. Who are you? I believe I did a dedicated review on this. You guys remember, I'm rusty. I'll have it linked below if I did. Now, this is a candle that I've talked about. I have actually, this was the 5th vessel of Kitchen Herbs that I have purchased. And this is a very underrated fragrance, in my opinion. I don't feel like I hear a lot of people talking about it. Fragrance notes on Kitchen Herbs are wild mint leaves, fresh thyme, sage leaf, and bay laurel. Don't let that mint note throw you off, because I don't really like mint. This to me smells like a fresh herb garden, like you're walking through, just like you're walking through a fresh herb garden. There's a green, it's a very green smelling candle, but like what you're picturing here on this wraparound label is what I am smelling. This candle I would burn, especially with the Rosemary Lemon from Kringle, if I had any kind of food that I had been cooking that had like strong aromas. Like, I love to make like Mexican food, or even like an Italian food. You know how that goes. Sometimes you have fragrances that just leave an aroma behind. Think about bacon, or fish. I would think they can tend to leave a stink behind in your house. This is a great fragrance to kind of clear the palate, cleanse the palate. Oh man, it is so, so good. And again, it burned really well for me. We're seeing no soot on the wax there. My wicks stayed in place. I didn't really have any tremendous issues with them falling over. I know a lot of people are saying that with their HOMEWORX candles. I'm not experiencing any wicks that are falling over with my HOMEWORX candles, but I've also always said I do not touch them. I don't trim them. The only way that I touch them is when I dip them to extinguish them, but I don't trim the wicks on these HOMEWORX candles, and I'm having pretty good success with them. So is this a candle that I would repurchase? Yes, I would repurchase it again for the springtime. I have repurchased it. I've had it twice now in duos from QVC before. Okay, here is a candle that was also sent to me, gosh, last August, I want to say, in PR. Sorry, you guys, I'm going to adjust my leg because it's falling asleep there. Okay, this is Wildflower Meadow. This is from HOMEWORX. Fragrance notes of wildflowers, apple blossoms, green pear, and clover grass. Now, when they sent this candle to me, I was kind of bummed out because I really liked the fragrance. However, I was definitely in more of my like fall transitional fragrances, and I kind of thought that this was an odd fragrance for them to be releasing like going into September. This to me is a really nice spring fragrance. I do get some of the pear and some of the apple, so maybe that's why they did it as like a fall release. But you definitely get a floral note in here, like wildflowers. What other notes are on here? Clover grass. It's green, but it's like a sweet floral as well, but you do detect some of that pear, a little bit of apple blossom in there. So I think that's maybe why they released it at that time. Obviously, I didn't get around to burning it until it was no longer available. But again, it burned really nicely for me. Look at this, you guys. This is one of those ones, sometimes with HOMEWORX candles, they burn like all the way down. And look at that. I mean, like you can like see the you can see the glass through the wax there. That's how little wax was left. Now this one I think I did move before the wax kind of hardened, so you can see it kind of like moved around when I put it into my empties. But this one was like one of those candles that burned good to the last drop. This one I would give about a 7. If this does return and you are interested in it, I would say go ahead and purchase it, because it did perform well for me. And it's a nice little sweet fragrance. But if you're a seasonal burner, I definitely see it more as a springtime fragrance than a summer fragrance. Okay, and then here's another candle that this one was from 2022. 2023. I purchased this in a duo at QVC in 2023. I did just recently repurchase another vessel of this from the Slatkin & Co. website. This is Valencia Orange. Fragrance notes on here are Valencia Orange, sugared lemon, glazed vanilla bean, and sweet amber. Now, this one was really strong for me, but honestly, I wanted to do a dedicated review on this one. However, because this was from an earlier pour date, let's see, what would that be? October 2022. I really didn't, I felt like if I did a dedicated review on this vessel of it, I felt like it may not be as accurate for what is currently available. And so that's why I didn't do the dedicated review. Because this candle, I started burning it a little bit last summer, and then I put it back in my closet. So it had been sitting and curing for like almost a year. Anyways, this fragrance to me, I love this orange fragrance. Oh my goodness, do I love this orange fragrance. If you happen to like HOMEWORX's Orange Creamsicle, this is Orange Creamsicle's sister. I've said this several times. I think this fragrance, if you burn those two side by side in complementary rooms, I don't really think you're going to pick up much of a difference. But again, nice clean burn on this one. Wicks burned really well for me. This one I actually finished burning yesterday, and I burned this candle. I know most people say like, don't burn your HOMEWORX candles more than 4 hours. I burned this candle for 8 hours yesterday, you guys. And look at that. It burned all the way solidly down. No wick issues, no wax, getting sooty issues. This one, I would give it a good solid, like in the middle of it, while it's in a hurricane, this one was a good solid 8.5, I would say. Outside of a hurricane, it's about a 7. Really strong performer. I really liked pairing this one with kind of like some strawberry lemonade type of fragrances. I also burn this maybe with like a vanilla. You could burn it that way. I also burned it with that lemon sugar marshmallow. So a lot of versatility to this one. If you are curious, yes, I have repurchased this one already. I also purchased another orange fragrance that recently released. And you guys, again, will be seeing that in the haul video coming up early next week. But really nice fragrance there. So let me go ahead and put these all back into the old, well, I'm going to put it into my box here to the side. Well, no, we'll just do it right here. Okay, so let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 candles, which honestly, you guys, again, it's not as much as I finished up in March, but I was gone for a week this month, and I probably would have finished up more. I still have some candles that I see myself finishing up probably within the next week, but probably not by April 30th. So I feel like I've already gotten kind of like, I anticipate that I will get a lot finished up in the month of May as well. So I am full on into summer candles right now. Really excited about that. So stay tuned for this week. Like I said, I will be having that candle collection video update for you probably early this week. And then, of course, next weekend, I will be posting my early May candle chat where I tell you what candles I'm bringing into my rotation. I also have some dedicated candle reviews coming up for you this week. I'm going to talk about in my candle chat video, I think next week, and maybe about some changes I might have to make to my dedicated reviews, but we'll touch on that when I get there. This video is already long enough. So I do want to say thank you so very much for spending your time here with me today. Comment down below if any of these candles are ones that you own and enjoyed, what your experience has been with them. I always encourage dialogue as long as you are respectful of myself and others within our community. But yeah, you guys, it's been real for this video. All right, awkward exit here as you're just looking at my empty basket here. Like I said, thank you so very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.